incredible, overwhelming, very emotional. A lot of candles, a lot of pictures of Oscar, a lot of Oscar's family and friends, a lot of people from the community. They really came out to support. So it was just, it was very overwhelming to kind of get that love.
Are there any type of words of wisdom that you can maybe give to young girls who look up to you, who maybe aspire to do the same thing that you are doing now?
I think it's to be resilient and persevere. It's hard being an actress. We have so much up against us, not only as a woman, but as a woman of color. It's not easy, but you have to just keep going and fight for the roles that you want to fight for. And
15 seconds, probably not, but I'll say that this is a story about humanity. It's not about black, white, green, or brown. It's about how we treat people that we deem differently or that we see differently from ourselves. So it's about that.
Shots fired at Fruitvale. We're trying to get home. What is going on?
Next stop, Fruitvale Station.
I think that for black males, we die at such a rapid rate. You know what I mean? And the most likely way that we die is from gun violence. And most of the time it's from us doing it to ourselves. And there's also a percentage of time where it happens like with Oscar, when it's people that are paid to protect us, that are firing the gun unnecessarily. And I think the first thing we can do, the most important thing that we can do, is realize that our lives have value, realize that our lives matter, and that's us personally, you know what I mean? And that's us from the inside out, whether it's dealing with urban conflict, you know, one hood against another hood, you know what I mean? And whether it's dealing with how we treat ourselves in our community. That's the one thing that we have the most control over, you know? And I think that once we do that on a consistent basis, you know what I mean? Once we can value our own lives on a consistent basis, once we can figure out a way to stop hurting each other, hurting ourselves, we can take the steps to hold somebody else accountable for doing that same thing to us. You know what I mean?
You can't make him into a martyr where it's like, oh, it was me, he's gonna be the face of the movement, but it's like, it was his last day, he was chilling, it was his mom's birthday, and he was fired, and he had to find a way to not tell people that he was fired. And then just that one scene when Oscar looks at the calendar, just that first of the month, brand new. We all know that, especially when you got people telling them, and you're like, I have a job, but you really know, and you're like, damn, how am I gonna do this? How did you achieve that? That's my question.
Man, bro, you gave me goosebumps. I'm glad it affected you that way, man. It means a lot to me. I mean, honestly, a lot of it had to do with like Ryan. You know, a lot of it was on the page. You know, he did his research like very, very well. You know, he had a chance to talk to the family. He had the luxury of having the attorneys. I'm saying, got a chance to look at all the public records and really document like Oscar's life throughout that day. He opened up the doors to Oscar's family for me to sit down and talk to. So I got a chance to spend time with his mother, with his daughter, with all of his best friends, and just hear the different stories that they told. You know, I'm glad they were fans of The Wire. You know, I think that helped out a lot. You know, cheap ass on that one. But in talking with them, you know, we got a chance to go to, go to a park, you know, have a barbecue, you know, talk, drink, you know, tell stories, you know, hear about all the stories about him and his partners and stuff with Oscar and how they used to hang out and kick it. And honestly, just spending time in the Bay. You know, the Bay is something totally different. So different from LA. I'm from New Jersey and from New York, and it's so different from the East Coast. So just being around, like, you know, his family and Ryan was like, you know, nice enough to open up his home, his family, you know, to us, you know, just kind of soak up that Bay Area. it was just spending time, honestly up there, and everybody knows what it's like to go through some struggle. You know, looking at that, you know, that rent late, you know, like looking at obstacles and not knowing how, you know, how you get the next paycheck, how you gonna pay that bill, you know, like borrowing here, you know, being late on one bill, pay another. And everybody's kind of been through that at some point in their life. So trying to pull from like personal experiences, you know, and make it as real as possible.
I'm from Oakland, California. 2 months after this, my nephew was killed. He was the first person that died in our family in 40 years. And he left here in a violent way. He wasn't killed by the police, but it was some of that, the residuals of the violence that we see in the streets because it was black on black crime. And I have 12 grandchildren, and 7 of them are young men. And it's just really scary. The only question that I have for you is that to be actors and the wonderful job that you have in portraying material like this, how often is it that, who knows if it gets a Grammy, if it gets an Academy Award or anything, but we need to stand behind films like this.
Hey, this is Karen Civil. This is actually my second time seeing FRUITVALE Station, and it was as emotional the first time for me as it was the second. You know, it's great to bring awareness to who Oscar Grant was. Again, they're not painting him as a martyr, but more as a man who loved his child, and it's just basically telling his story and getting out there of, you know, someone who wanted to change their life, and this can be anyone's child. Definitely a movie everyone should see.
My name is Redrick Williams. I love the film. Amazing, much needed film. Towards the end when I saw the character on the platform with his face being pushed out, like literally, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I've lived in New York. To be honest, I've lived so many places and I've had interactions with police. I saw myself, I've been in that situation before, honestly. I've actually been arrested as a youth for overlooking another situation with a friend of mine, and I ended up going, it's something that needs to be seen. Even though I know I gotta wrap this up, but I cannot say enough about it. For everyone involved, keep on doing what you're doing, do more of it, because more of this needs to be out there. Very, very good film, very good film.